Hello and welcome to the STUK on Self-Love podcast. STUK Designs is a successful nonprofit for girls and a clothing brand run by 5 young women from around the world. At STUK Designs, we believe in self-love first because self-love is the dawn that marks the beginning of all the different kinds of loves and because it undoubtedly sustains success. This podcast shines light on strong and talented women who excel and persevere in life while bathing in abundant self-love. So if you're ready to keep it real, level up in all your inner work, creative business, and community impact, then you've come to the right place because we provide you with content that helps your soul glow and your mind grow. Thank you for pressing play. Let's dive in.
Hey community, Brette here, back with another STUK on Self-Love episode. And in case you guys are wondering or don't know yet, STUK stands for Strong, Talented, United, and Knowledgeable. And today I wanted to talk about one of our philosophies, actually both of our philosophies of do you and self-love first, because I think that this is a really important thing to address in the time we're in the world we're living in, and no matter what time you're listening to this. So this episode is called Doing You, the philosophy of doing you in oppressed society, because people be pressed. So, and then I found this amazing quote on Twitter the other day, and I feel like it ties in pretty perfectly to this conversation. So I'm going to open up with that. And basically it was like, y'all think you have to be mean because the world is mean. But one of the most powerful things you can do is stand your ground and not let your environment change you. And I think that, like, as a company, as a nonprofit, as an organization, we believe this, we believe in standing your ground. We believe in doing you, no matter what external circumstances may show. And in loving yourself first, you are able to do you, to expand you, to get to know yourself, to explore areas of yourself that you've never ventured to before. And in my life, I mean, I've always kind of lived in this way. Like, I've always believed in doing you, like doing what I want, doing how I feel, because you can only give from a full cup. And if I was always putting, other people before me, it's like my cup would never be full enough to do the work that I'm doing, to serve in the way that I serve. So what do I want to talk about first with this? I think, like, being you, being yourself, that authenticity is really what I want to touch upon first. And I think that it takes a while for each of us to uniquely stand strong within our own personal authority and within our own sense of self, because, like, I mean, so many things, circumstances, people, places, or whatever have the ability to, like, throw us off our center, throw us off, like, what grounds us and what stabilizes us. But when you're adamantly loving yourself first and doing you, it's like you can always get back to that center space of here and now, presence and grounding. And also, art is a very powerful and important tool to be able to express yourself authentically and to be you and to do you. And art is also something that really does take you out of time. It takes you out of the realm of time, of having to always, like, strive and do and do this and do that. And it just allows you to just, like, be within the presence of yourself. Like, yes, when you do you, I guess that's in essence like doing, but in doing yourself, you're showering yourself with love. You're filling that cup back up. You're soothing yourself. You're, able to self-soothe, which is really important, and which a lot of people, I think, don't even know how to do anymore, because they rely on external things for that. So I think also in doing you, being able to unplug often is really important. I try to unplug at least, my dog is barking in the background. Sorry about that. At least I would say like at least 2 days a week, I try to unplug and, just paint with no distractions and no interruptions, and to just be in the presence of myself, and just the work. And like right now, I mean, I took this morning I've meditated, did some affirmations, did some writing, listened to, some spiritual teachers that I am inspired by. And then I was inspired to do this podcast. But, I'm sitting outside in nature and it's like an overcast day, but I just feel very grounded in my own presence, in my own center of being. And I think that like people are always going to judge you, no matter what you do. So it's like you might as well do you, right? And I mean, I've faced so much like adversity with people, in the way that I live, in the way that I move through this life, because I'm really I try to have as few thoughts, circling around in my mind as possible. That's why I meditate every day. That's why I do affirmations. That's why I promote affirmations and meditation through STUK Designs, because it really, it creates this space, this expansive space for me to create and build my life creatively how I want to. And people are always just going to talk and say this or that, like, who does she think she is for, doing this or saying this, or who does she think she is for changing, or I feel like I often, like, racially, there's judgment in doing you as well. And I feel like, coming from the Bay Area, my background is just very diverse, and I'm very inclusive, and also like having parents who were very strict about education and grammar and words. And so it's like a lot of times, when I first hang out with like other Black people, it's like the question is, well, why do you talk so proper? Like, why do you talk like this? Like, whatever. But, and I think in high school, it kind of did make me feel insecure because my parents are such sticklers. Like, they still like correct me when I mispronounce something, and they want proper enunciation and pronunciation of like everything. And it was a very strict upbringing. So like I've had to pull away from that in growing up and maturing some in order to just become myself. But also, just also owning, that is a part of my story, and that does make me different. But because of that, it also makes me unique, and I think we all have little idiosyncrasies like that make us different, that maybe have made us feel awkward or insecure growing up, but like that just, make us uniquely who we are in whatever way that is. So I say, like, just own your story, and it adds to my story of who I am. And I think that your, weirdness, whatever it is, adds to your story too. I think these are the things that make us beautiful, the different things about us. So I also think that who you're surrounding yourself with is super important within the philosophy of doing you in a pressed society, a very pressed society. If you're living in America, it's a very interesting dynamic. I feel like there's a lot of people who feel threatened by, others doing them, being who they are, expressing it openly and vibrantly. There's a lot of negativity in the media and in the politics, and it really drags down the high flowing happy vibration, which is doing you, you know? And so like the quotes I was reading earlier, it's like we have to stand our ground in doing us and not let the environment change us, you know, be it America or whatever country that you live in, wherever you are in the world. Um, because, you know, we have to know that who we are, you know, this grounding of who we are is what makes our lives brilliant and bright and expand and thrive and grow and fun and celebratory and all this stuff. And with who we when we surround ourselves with people who also have, you know, similar mindsets, goals, visions, positivity, love, family, you know, when people are very high vibration also, it lifts you up. And so I think that is super important to have, you know, friends who can do them, because otherwise they're going to always be pressed about you doing you, and it doesn't give you space to be who you really are, to really get to know you, like to know thyself, you know. And that's why I feel like super blessed to have the friends that I have, because it wasn't always that way. And I think in high school, I had this really close best friend. She was Chinese and Puerto Rican, actually, a very exotic mix. And she was just like my best friend for the first 2 years of high school, I remember. And we were such good friends because we could always be ourselves. Like, she was an Aquarius, I'm an Aquarius rising. Like, we just flowed. And we were both creative and loved indie films and loved watching movies. And it was very close. But then she moved away and I kind of felt out of sorts. I was like, well, how do I do me now? Because, you know, I don't feel comfortable. I don't feel like I have anyone who I can be myself around. And after a while, you know, I evolved and became stronger in who I am. And, you know, newer friends gravitated towards me and more friends gravitated towards me. But it sucks when you don't have people who you feel like understand you or flow with you. And I think I went to an all girls high school, and actually, and so did Madeline, which I think definitely can define and refine like your experience. I think that's why I and she have like really strong passions about girls' rights and are girls' rights advocates, because we know that like how much girls can thrive in environments with other girls, with other women, because you have a little bit more space to do you, you know, without any male judgment, any, you know, male superiority complexes. And so it was a very free environment to go to high school in. But, you know, like, there are no boys, and I didn't want that, really. I didn't want to. I was devastated when I had to go to an all girls school. But so it was a bit like I enjoyed you know, I was happy about the friends that I ended up meeting there and the person that I became and the really educated, smart, and intelligent woman I was able to evolve into, you know, to enter college, because you know, I just had that space to do me and to really explore education and to really like, I was in, you know, all pretty much mostly AP classes. I was in, you know, AP art and English and writing. And I just really was able to explore all areas of that and my style of writing and my style of art. And that's in high school, I created my first art collection, actually. So, and sold it and it sold really well. And so, you know, I had all this space, but at the same time, something was lacking because it was an all girls school. And I just like wanted a group of diverse friends. And so I started in high school, really just, you know, really just envisioning what it is that I want, like what it is that will light me up, like who I need to be surrounded with to, ignite that passion within my soul. And so I kind of like, I think everything can be an aspect of manifestation and visualization. And for me, I utilize film a lot and TV a lot. And so, I'd be watching these shows, be it like the OC or whatever, Dawson's Creek or whatever was on back then, because, there were only shows with white teens back then. And I just would envision like this amazing group of friends that I could have and party with, and that are more like family than friends. And so with all that visualization I did in high school, by the time I got to college, like I literally stepped into that manifestation. Like I met all these people who are now like definitely either part of or connected to like my soul tribe and who I am. Because I started envisioning it then. And so most of my friends I've had since I was that age, since I left for college to LA when I was about 18. And they are definitely more like family than friends to me. It's like sometimes, what is that quote? I think that sometimes like you are given a family, but sometimes you choose them. And I feel like I definitely chose my family because the family that I was actually born into really just didn't ever understand who I was. I was never allowed to express. I was never allowed to fully be myself and do me. And in meeting this group of like free and passionate and funny and just brilliant people that like are able to, they just do them unapologetically and give me the space to do me, and I support them and they support me, and it creates this like this foundation and this bond, and that I know is always there no matter where I am in life and no matter what part of the world I am in. And the more that I've traveled and the more that I've met people, it's like I realize like, wow, I'm so blessed to have this group of friends because I don't ever have to put on a facade or, be somebody I'm not around them. And that's like the best feeling. And I didn't really, sometimes have taken it for granted because you get into like, the flow of your own life and you forget that like, oh, wait, I guess maybe everyone else isn't quite experiencing this, And and I definitely have had moments of that, like, wow, okay. But yeah, and also my group of friends, and because I think it was just part of my manifestation. It's just like I wanted other guy friends, and so now I think my group it's predominantly guys, but like also girls, but people who love themselves, people who do them, people who give me the space to, to hibernate and go into hermit mode and to do my art and to, build my nonprofit, but are still always around when I need them, and when they, and it's just like it creates this like almost like a love bubble of protection, I think, when you have people around you who love you no matter what, just because of the way that you are and who you are and the authenticity of that which you are. So that's an extreme blessing. And like, I think that the first step, if you want to, surround yourself with more people who you feel are like free, are open, are expansive, their minds are open, they have free minds, then you have to first do that for yourself, expand your own mind, open yourself up, open your own heart up, and then also start visualizing, start thinking about what kind of friends you do want, what people you would love to hang out with, and they will definitely find you. Like, they are my soul tribe. I call them or we call each other like the pack, as in wolf pack, because we're just like bonded. I don't know, I can't really explain it, but because of that, I just feel infinitely blessed, and I'm thankful for the things that I can't explain, because it just means that that's a higher love, and that's a part of manifestation, and that's a part of the miracle that is life. um And then also, I think when you expand beyond friendship and are talking about like loving relationships, like doing you is still vastly and deeply important. Like you don't want to be in a relationship with somebody and like always be clingy and never be able to like do your own thing. Like you need somebody who loves themselves first so that they are able to do them and give you the space to do you. But when you come together, you are not like halves creating a whole. You are two full, complete people coming together in unison and equality and love, and to be yourselves, to be the highest version and the most authentic version of yourselves. And that creates such beauty and such balance. And like I often say, and I think about it, like the person in my life who, you know, just there's that deep love for, I think like in what happened, they were able to push me towards loving myself more, to teach me how to love myself more. And I think you want to find somebody who allows you to fall more deeply in love with yourself as you also fall in love with them, you know? Because that creates that fluidity and that balance and that freedom and that space, because, you know, you want to love somebody like, in a way that makes them feel free, you know, in a way that doesn't make them feel trapped and like they have to do what you say or like obligated, but they just are free and choosing to openly love you and be with you. And then I also wanted to talk about social media and doing you within the context of social media, because I think that like this whole you know, this social media like mogul space that we're in, and the algorithms and people saying you have to do this and that with social media and you have to be this way and post at this time and share this often and whatever it is. But you know, with all of the kind of censorship issues we have, and the fact that like our page has been blocked, and then you know our documentaries got blocked and this and that, it's frustrating because yeah, we don't really see many likes on our page or comments on our page or this and that, but it's like given me this space and this freedom to just finally like do what I want, to post how I want to post, how as a nonprofit I think we should post, like to freely share our, you know, brilliant thoughts, ideas about creativity, about, you know, rebuilding structures, about rebuilding education with forms of self-love and art included, you know. And it just gave me like it almost, I think, you know, when our page wasn't blocked, I felt more pressure about what I would, you know, what I was going to post, or is this okay, or is this not? And now I just post, you know, because when I feel that urge, that passion, when I get that higher calling of something that I need to say, I just do it. I just push it out. And so I think, you know, while frustrating, the whole censorship debacle of, you know, in a fight for freedom of speech has really given me more strength to validate myself, and in that giving me more space to do me. And so I think you should just kind of unplug sometimes and step away from the pressure of like how you should be posting or what you should be doing based on what everyone else is doing, because you know this life is really about you. It's about where you're going, who you want to be, you know, what you see as important in life. And I think that, you know, the more we can give ourselves and others that space without judgment, free of any judgment, you know, then the more we ultimately grow and the more we level up on our self-love journey completely. And so also in this pressed society that we're in, I just feel like there's been such a rise of of envy, of haters, of jealousy, of this like I don't know, anti-culture of being yourself. And it's like people don't even understand that they're really, in most cases, like in this egoic place of resistant resistance to their own good, because, in judging others and being like, oh my God, why is she posting this so much? Or why is she so happy? What makes her so happy? What happened to her? Like, why would she, say this during this time or this, all this blah, blah, blah. Like when you can eliminate those thought cycles from your head that other people, are in mental loops about, then you free yourself to you give that expansion to yourself, and then you start to be able to actually draw love and light towards you. And I think that we also as a society and as people should stop being so afraid to spread love. I think so many people are so afraid to spread love because they've been hurt so many times by people that haven't allowed them to be themselves and to stand in their own authenticity. But that's no way to excel yourself. It's only going to create more blockages within your own life and and really just bind you into a box that you don't even want to be in. But when you're able to spread love, when you're giving love, then you ultimately are able to receive more love and receive more support and receive, have more friends, more conversations, more that are aligned to who and what you are. And when you show love from an authentic place, like showing love to somebody commenting, on a post or doing a zillion heart eye emojis, it's not going to lessen who you are. By showing somebody else love, it's not going to lessen your credibility or anything. If anything, it will expand it more. It'll expand this what I called before, this bubble of love that you get put into when you have people around you, who care in certain ways and who give you that space of unconditional love. And so, I would just ask you guys to think about that. How can I show more love today? What can I do to give today? How can I, show some kindness today? Maybe let's share this post, STUK Designs did today, and maybe let's elevate higher as a community together, because this is dope and I'm dope and you're dope, and yes, let's do this. Let's come together and elevate higher and build together and grow together and expand community together. Because in essence, doing you, it's it is in essence loving yourself first, giving you yourself, your heart, your soul, your mind, this space, this loving space to just freely be who you are. Be who, and I don't mean who people have told you to be. I don't mean the teacher, the doctor, the lawyer, the artist, the sister, I mean you are this expansive light within, and you can always go back to that place. Within my own site, my Art by Brette site, which is brettesims.com, I always say cultivate the garden within, because for me, this place of presence and joy and authenticity and self-love, I just always have envisioned it as this garden within. And when you're meditating and you visualize just going to this spacious, loving garden and centering that within yourself, within your heart, or you can even envision the garden within your heart. It's as the more that we grow on this self-love journey, the more important I think you'll find visualizations are, because they can pull you back within, back to yourself and back to grounding, as well as creating, when I paint, when I'm painting an oil, one of my biggest oil paintings right now, and it's taking forever, but it's really allowing me to have space with myself, for myself. And it's almost like meditation, because it's I just really have to sit with myself, with my own thoughts, with who I am and what I'm doing. And it's very tedious painting, but it expands me. It hones and fine tunes my focus, and it takes me out of time, so that I'm not just always pressed for like, oh, what's going to happen next, or how much I need to do this, or I need to make this, or I need to have this done by then, or and it just like takes me out of that any kind of stress loop or worldly cycle, and brings me to the garden, this garden of peace, this garden of self-love, this garden of doing me completely and honestly and openly, and doing what I've been put here on this earth to do. And I think that in honoring your gifts, in honoring what gifts you have been blessed with on this earth, yeah, that's it. It creates this magic, this flow of magic in your life. Like, and one of the STUK girl affirmations is you are magic. And you truly are, and you truly do have the ability to create your own life, in the grounding of self-love. But it isn't always easy. It's not always easy to be yourself and to confront haters and to feel attacked on social media, or to feel bullied on social media, or whatever it may be, or in life, or by your family, or whatever may have you. But no matter what the circumstance is, and like the point I really am drawing home to here is just like, when you can do you, when you can always return to you, to your own heart, to your own core, to your own grounding, foundation, and center, then nothing else really matters. Nothing else externally, like what people say, do, what social media is doing, what the government is doing, with this and that, nothing matters, because you love you first. You know where you are, what your true north is, And I also say a lot, within my own personal business of brettesims.com, is like being here now. I think that being here now is doing you, and it's really embracing that present moment awareness of this now moment. And I think that's one of the really unique things about my group of friends, like the pack, is just really, we all have an understanding that like, life is fleeting, and it's important to be here now, and to celebrate now, and to celebrate with the people that you love and care about and want to connect with now. And because we never know what might happen in the next minute, in the next hour, in the next day, and so it helps to just be thankful and grateful, no matter what your circumstance you're in, no matter what place you're in, and just be here now and do you in that moment, in this now moment. So yeah, that's kind of my what I wanted to talk about today. Because I just have seen it coming up so much, just like in conversations with people in social media, or just like the vibe I feel, or the energy, and it's very like anti doing you, which I don't even understand. Like, how are we actually having to fight for authenticity these days, or to, like it's very strange. And that's why you just have to, remain centered, remain grounded, and tune out the outside world, tune out all that worldly media bullshit, like turn that off, and don't let your environment change you. Be who you are. Be the brilliant, bright, radiant, ultra light beam soul that I know that you can be, and that that you are, because that's what we all are. And there's unity in that. In like, the light within me recognizes the light within you, and the light within our STUK design community recognizes the light within you. And we are so glad to have you here. We are so glad that your present light is like listening to these sound waves now, and flowing into our community of love and acceptance and non-judgment and peace. And by working on ourselves individually, and by growing more, by fine-tuning our focus more, by centering ourselves in that self-love, it's not selfish, it's not. I think that there's often a fine line, like, between what is self-love and what is selfish narcissism, right? And a lot of people just think that self-love is this narcissistic thing, but putting yourself first is not narcissistic. Like, narcissism is definitely a thing, and that's not self-love. Self-love is like, it's not just like loving the self, like this external version of you, like your face, your hair, like, oh, I'm bomb today, like that can be part of it. But what it is really like loving yourself, that I am, that you, who is the soul that is within you, the light that is within you. It's loving that aspect. It's loving that unseen part of you that dives deeper than the surface, that goes underneath, the surface level core that people see. And so I think that it often, in this culture especially, can be misconstrued as some self-serving thing, or like, oh, who does she think she is? She's so vain for like this. But it's like, when you truly honor yourself, like beyond your skin, beyond your eyes, beyond your eyelashes and hair, and when you really love 100% every aspect of the soul that you are, and then it prompts you to love this external avatar that you are in, then it's like, whew, that's a game changer. Then it's like your growth is no longer superficial, and real growth is never external. It's never superficial. It's never on the outside. Real growth comes from within. It comes from shifting yourself internally and elevating from there. And I think that that's what a lot of people get confused about, because no, self-love journey, it's not just about like, oh, let me get cute, let me get all these new outfits, let me start taking all these selfies, and like, let me just like show everybody how much I love myself. No, it's a deeper journey than that, and it is in no way superficial. It's like this deep and sometimes dark and sometimes sad and emotional and sometimes lonely space of really loving yourself and being able to stand on your own and being able to love, the alone time that you have, and love the moments of presence you have with yourself, and within every aspect of that. And it's honoring the shadows that you have. It's honoring your dark parts and the depression and the anxiety or the mental illness or the, weird parts of family issues that you might have had that caused abuse. It's like loving every aspect and realizing that, it's a part of your makeup, and you have the power to rise above anything because you are a unique emanation of love, you're a divine, unique light. And I think when we can really remember that, like, this time is really about remembering, because, the media, everyone around us, it's trying to pull us off this center, pull us off what we know to be true about ourselves, that we are love, we are light, that community is great. The community, brings us together, makes us stronger, power to the people, but it's like, it's hard in a society where everything is, it's a society that profits off of your self-doubt, and that's why loving yourself in a society, in a country that profits off your self-doubt, is a rebellious act. That's why having joy and doing you in a society that profits off your negative self-doubt spirals and cycles is a rebellious and beautiful and courageous and brave act. Fortune favors the brave. That's another STUK girl illustration. And so I just would encourage you to try to do you to the fullest today, to try to explore new areas of yourself, new things that you love, things that you've never done before. Talk to somebody new, smile at a stranger, start a conversation with a stranger, meditate outside, go to the park by yourself, have a picnic, and giving yourself, showering yourself with love and showering yourself with, time by yourself and to yourself, then, you're only going to strengthen the bond you ultimately will have with others. And you're only going to attract more aligned, radiant people to you. So that's really, I think, it for today. Do you, boo. And yeah, and don't let this society change you. Don't let other people change, who and what you are. Remember who you are. Remember that you are always the beginning before the beginning, which is the light within yourself, within your soul, within your core. You are more than the skin, you are more than this hair, you are more than your titles, you are more than your job, your home, your car, your, whatever material aspects you are a unique, vibrating light, and it's time that we really embrace that first uniquely so that we can spread this like just expansive, never ending love that, self-love ultimately becomes, that so that we can spread it into the world and so that we can give more from genuine, just fun places. Like giving becomes fun also, when you are in that state of self-love. When you love yourself first, you can give from this this endless reservoir of just beauty. All right. So I love you guys so much. Thank you for tuning in again, and I'll talk to you next time.
Hey, beautiful people! We at STUK Designs have begun our crowdfunding campaign with iFund Women supported by Caress. We are raising money for expanding our programs, manufacturing art kits, setting up our studio that will be a space to empower women and girls through art and self-love, and a lot of other work that we have planned. We would love your help in our mission to provide girls in underserved communities art education and help them recognize and utilize the power of self-love. Visit our website www.stukdesigns.org for a link to our campaign. Thank you so much for tuning into this episode. You can visit our website www.stukdesigns.org to shop our merch, make donations, join our blogging team, or be a part of our affiliate program. See you in our next episode. Love and light from us to you.